the irony of ironies. An institution which across the globe has been acknowledged as anti-people, elitist and responsible for increasing poverty, misery and destitution across dozens of countries, is now being seen as Pakistan's only savior, as it seems the rulers in this country have come round to restarting an agreement which has been in abeyance for almost a year. There is no alternative mantra repeated in every single article, in every single television program and discussion, has now become conventional wisdom of and for those who have access to such voice. If we do not go to the IMF, such conventional wisdom says, we will collapse. If we don't agree to reform, we will go bankrupt and no one will support us, goes the new slogan repeated every day. Financial apocalypse is here, we are on the brink of an economic meltdown, only the IMF can save us, goes the cacophony in the public sphere. There are those who warn us that if we agree to the harsh conditionalities of the IMF and give in to its demands, inflation will jump from the current 25% to 35%, that the dollar might actually be available but closer to 300 rupees rather than the infamous boast of 200 some months ago. Electricity and gas, if available at all, will become far more expensive, as will petrol and everything else on which the economy depends. Imports, so important to the existence of those who rule, will also become substantially more expensive. Reportedly, in the last 6 months when we have been in an acute economic crisis with dollars unavailable, 2,200 luxury cars have been imported, while medicines and numerous other essentials and raw material are no longer available in the market. These same analysts confess that while things will become far worse if we accede to the IMF's particularly harsh conditions, if we don't, we will certainly default. The choice, many of them say, is between the tough conditions of the IMF or certain default, an inflation rate of 35% rather than 70%. Sri Lanka is no longer a symbol of a cheap resort getaway, but the future which Pakistan will embrace if it does not swallow the bitter IMF medicine. The consequences of financial apocalypse or economic meltdown are different for different income groups. For the ruling elite of Pakistan, which is composed of the military as well as civilians, in different forms and measure, there is always the IMF. The IMF is its savior. Unwilling and unable to undertake any sort of effective reform, there has been no substantial or radical economic reform policy for years, possibly decades. The ruling elite brings the economy through loot and plunder, or rent-seeking in polite parlance, to the edge of default, to the brink of economic collapse. When extraction from the economy becomes no longer possible, the IMF emerges to rescue the elite. As has